Wiccan is doo-doo dog shit. He will never be good. Waste of spotlight keys. Just play Arishem, dumbass. Well, if you tell me one thing, I'm the kind of guy who does the opposite. So I went ahead and I pulled for Wiccan, and surely I hit him in one cash. Shit. What the hell? Well, 4 keys it is. So I tried many decks that you may have seen across many other channels, but nothing was working for me. This was a list I tried for the longest time, which I actually think isn't half bad, but here's what I officially landed on. And yeah, it looks a lot like Loki of the past, huh? Well, that's because I ran into an issue when I played Wiccan. I just didn't have enough cards to justify getting this extra energy for the last 2 turns. Which is actually a reason I think Sunspot is actually really good in Wiccan decks, despite not floating any energy through turn 4. But in this list, we have card generation to kind of fix that issue, like Maria Hill, Snowguard, Kate Bishop Hawkeye, Coulson, and Loki, which all end up buffing our collector. And a lot of people swear by Quicksilver and Domino in these Wiccan decks, and you can be sure they're not terrible. They're not amazing either. It feels bad playing them, but it is a guarantee to meet that Wiccan condition. I will say though, when you play both, you're putting yourself at a position that you're probably not going to draw Wiccan on 4. So if I was gonna use one, I lean towards Quicksilver and dropping Domino. Sure, it's fun to play them after all this time, but this deck runs neither of them and it hits the condition when I draw Wiccan most of the time anyways. And hell, if I miss one of my 1-drops on the first turn, I still have Loki to fall back on. And I will say, if you don't run Quicksilver, Kitty Pryde is the next best thing. Kitty feels amazing in filling the energy in each turn. She's just perfect for that, along with Kate Bishop, which feels like a must to include. They just fill the curve awesomely. But let me talk about Loki for a second. Every Wiccan deck I've played, I want Loki in. If you Loki turn 3 and then Wiccan turn 4, I'm just always snapping. It just feels really good, and honestly, Loki is just a good card by himself. Low-key, Loki feels better than before with 1 less cost and a card draw. I'm seeing them all over the place. And the rest of the deck is pretty straightforward, but Rogue can be swapped out for other tech cards like Shang-Chi, Enchantress, but 3 cost feels really good in the Wiccan deck since I can play her along with a big dino on the last turn. And yes, I haven't seen many people running dinos in these kind of shells, but I have so many cards in my hand anyways, and it lets me go vertical in a lane, which I typically don't get to without him. So he's been making the cut for me. And if you think the dino inclusion is a little copium, feel free to swap him out for something else that is big and has some use, like a cannonball or a legion, or even just, again, swap him out for another good tech card like a Shang-Chi. And what's cool about this deck is it's pretty inexpensive, minus Loki and Wiccan. Sure, I love Kate, but you can throw in a good 2 cost like a Jeff and I'm chill with that. Snowguard, just throw in Sunspot if you don't have them. And then yeah, I wouldn't replace Loki at all. And plus, why would I replace Loki when I got this new variant? I didn't waste 4 spotlight keys. But I've been grinding Conquest. I'm trying to get all the boosters I can to put into a gold Titania split for this variant. So this is how my Conquest match went with this deck. So first round of Gold Conquest, we match with Vizu, and I start with an absolute nut of a hand with Wiccan and Loki. We play out our curve and then snap. Unlucky for us, they beast an already huge cast Nova and they play her out with massive amount of power. So yeah, I don't play the last turn and I am out of there. I choose to dip. The next game we get Elysium, which actually makes turn 2 really hard to meet the Wiccan condition, so I have to tempo out my Rogue. So, as fun as that is, we're able to get Wiccan down turn 3, and I'm feeling pretty good. We vomit our hand on the Sacred Timeline, and now it's their turn to retreat. And then finally, we get Weird World on the next turn, and we both snap. So I don't know what that says about our confidence in each other's decks, but then I realized why. They have my Quinjet, and luckily I rogue that, take the discounted cards, yoink. And from there, I bounce the wolf around till he's nice and big, and here's how it ends. And yeah, they can't bring it back from there, because after that, I Loki and Wiccan into the best part of their deck, and I get to Hazmat everything, then Ajax, and then I get to rogue their Ajax. So yeah, that was probably the most satisfying turn 6 I've had with this deck. Now, going into round 2 of 3, we're going against Yam with the Spiffy Wolverine avatar. He has a very similar deck, and he just happens to hit 2 Lokis the first game, and I can't win that. I can't win that. But on the second time around, on the run back, we have the Eternals Arc. So both locations around it are going to flood. I'm filling them as fast as I humanly can. I send over my Maria Hill with Castle Zemo, and from Maria Hill, I get Psylocke, which is insane, because I get to send out my Wiccan turn 3 and get that extra energy super early. And he clogs my ass on turn 4, so it looks like he's winning the left lane, I'm winning the right, and I'm able to go really high in the Icebox lane, so I feel like I'm chilling, and it's gonna come down to the final turn in the mid lane. And he is a fellow Dino enjoyer, so we both slam one down, but my Snow Guard makes the difference. Then the next round is one of those where I don't hit Wiccan, but I have the Raft full and I'm able to get a Sasquatch. I do this funky move with the Acid Arrow, which is pretty cool. And they Loki. So right after that, we're going to Loki. And you know what? We're all just Lokiing. Going into the last turn, he drops a big dino. And we're able to end the game and the series like this. So we're on a heater so far with this deck, and our last game for the infinite ticket is against Charlie Kane. We go back and forth with plays like this for like 2 cubes, but they're fun games at least. And then we get a game where they're going to cable, and they get Wiccan and play it in their Arishem deck. So not only do they have 7 energy on turn 4, but they have a full hand. So to try to salvage this game, we Loki and Quinjet, but it's still looking rough. They do have a Void out from the Sentry, which makes me think they're either going to Cersei or send it over. So I end up filling that location. And then we are down to the last turn for the infinite ticket. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I have kind of become a Wiccan believer. Maybe he's just carried by how good Loki is right now, but I think it's a solid card. I've seen plenty of decks that have been coming out with him that look fun to play, but I think this one's definitely a good place to start. But if you enjoyed the video, I'd really appreciate it if you liked, commented, and subscribed. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subs so I can get into the Marvel Snap Creator Program so I can get more assets that they provide to make better videos. But again, thank you. That is all, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!